Be seated, please.
Distinguished guests, university colleagues, industry partners, ladies and gentlemen, and most importantly, those of you who are graduating today. I welcome you here today. In particular, I would like to extend a warm welcome to Steve Cons, Mayor of Burnie, Shane Broad, MP, Member for Braddon, Anita Dow, MP, Member for Braddon, Jackie Lambie, Senator for Tasmania, Andrew Wardlaw, Burnie City Council, Giovanna Simpson, Deputy Mayor of Burnie, Ian Jones, a scholarship supporter. I now call upon David Goff to conduct a welcome to country.
Thank you. Could I ask for everybody to stand for the welcome to country, please? Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge our elders past and present, to acknowledge our future leaders and warriors, and today those warriors will be intellectual warriors. To acknowledge the land of where we meet on here today, Tomagini, Palawapakana, Truwana Latruwita, Tasmanian Aboriginal land. To acknowledge Kikatapola, the warrior that's buried down near our wharfs here in this Emu Bay, Tomagini country. To acknowledge everyone here in this place. To acknowledge that this graduation will put forward a lot of new people into this world, into new spaces. I feel the energy in this space every year, the unknown, the positive energy about what investment you've put into your achievements, and you should be all very proud. When I do a welcome, I like to clap to let my ancestors and let everyone know that we're here together on country, on sacred land. So when I clap, I ask if you can clap with me. Yapalingana, Lume, Mapale, Lume, Palawa, Pakana, Truwana, Latruwita, Truwana, Kikatapola, Truwana. All right, for those who know in our language, when we say hello, we say ya. I want everyone to say hello in our language. Ya, 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 ya. Thank you very much. Like I said, it's always a pleasure and a privilege to come and work with you, Taz, and all of you guys every year. It really is. With the continual learning, obviously I'm really favoured towards the arts and culture, but obviously all the learnings that can put us into the future as a strong and vibrant community. I'm looking forward to going next door with all the young ones, because they really kick it off. I hope you all can hear them yelling out "ya" from here, okay? Thank you very much.
I'm delighted to be with you to participate in this ceremony. For you, the graduates and diplomats, graduation is an important rite of passage and a fitting outcome to the commitment you have made in gaining higher education qualification. You can justly feel proud of yourselves. You have been encouraged to develop the knowledge and professional skills to help you to make a major contribution to your chosen field and to society. You have had the privilege of studying at a distinctive university that commands great respect nationally and internationally, a place where inquiry, ideas and innovation flourish. A university that is uniquely Tasmanian and deeply connected to its community and the island. Today you join a body of graduates and diplomats who have taken their learning and skills into the community and have applied it to the benefit of humankind, whether it be here in Tasmania or elsewhere in the world. In joining them, you bring honour to yourselves and to this university, your alma mater. I want to say something about the ceremony in which you are participating today, as it has a history and tradition that can be traced back to the beginnings of universities. There are 5 essential elements of this ceremony: your families and friends and members of the community, the academic staff, the academic senate, you, the graduands, and me, the Deputy Chancellor. Your families and friends and members of the community are here not only to help you celebrate your achievements, but also to be witnesses to the conferral of your awards. This witness function is important, and it dates back to the times when there were few written records. Having witnesses at the graduation ceremony guaranteed that there would always be someone who could vouch that you had been admitted to your degree. Secondly, you have seen members of the colleges and staff from the university process into the room, led by the usher of the black rod and followed by the mace bearer. As ancient symbols of authority, these ceremonial symbols, borrowed from parliamentary traditions, are a reminder that universities are custodians both of the enduring traditions of learning and of the power they bestow upon those who come to learn. It is also a reminder that the learning process may not have always been comfortable or easy. The procession itself dates back to the earliest traditions of universities, when graduating students and professors would walk through the town so that members of the public would recognise the graduating students and their qualifications. The Chancellor's role is also an essential feature of this ancient ceremony. The Chancellor originally was the representative of the Church, which controlled education until the Reformation. At that time, Henry VIII assumed for the Crown all rights that, in England, had previously belonged to the Pope. Since then, the Chancellor has been the representative of the state, and he or she wears robes similar to those of the Lord Chancellor of England. As Deputy Chancellor, I will admit you to your degrees or award you your diplomas on behalf of the University of Tasmania. This is the actual moment of your graduation. Before that, though, the Chair of the Academic Senate, on behalf of the academic staff, will acknowledge that you, the graduands, are qualified to be admitted to your degrees or awarded your diplomas. The Academic Senate is the present-day equivalent of the ancient guilds, who insisted that they were the ones who verified that appropriate standards were met. The Chair of the Academic Senate performs that function today. As the ceremony concludes today, you will join us in processing from the room, a public recognition of your status as graduates and diplomats. This is the tradition and formality of graduation. As you celebrate your graduation today, you join a vibrant global family of over 120,000 graduates that have taken this precious Tasmanian experience to all continents around the world and across more than 120 countries. I trust that all of you, as members of our extended family and as continuing members of the university, will maintain a strong interest in the university. It is now your turn to shine, to take the talents, skills and expertise that you have honed through your studies at the university to see Tasmania realise its full potential to become one of the very special places on the planet, a place that people look to as a model for how to create a truly sustainable, equitable and prosperous society. It is to you to whom we now look to lead, to imagine and to shape our future. Remember your time on the university's campuses with fondness and cherish the connections that you have made and the relationships you have built. I hope you will never lose the thirst for knowledge that is the true outcome of higher education, and will continue to use your skills of analysis and inquiry that you have learned in the course of your studies to seek balance and clarity in the issues and problems you will face. These attributes are, in many ways, more important than the content of the courses you have undertaken. The university's motto is Igneus Patuit Campus, which translates to "the field lies open to talent." It captures our spirit, it reflects our vitality and confidence in our identity and openness to communities and the world. Let me offer a special congratulations to you all. You, our graduates, have the talents, skills and expertise. I hope that you will all embrace the next stage in your life journey, committed to creating a better future. Today is your day, a day for celebration of your achievements and a parting reflection with your fellow graduates of your time at the University of Tasmania. Enjoy the day with your families and friends, the people who have supported you. Prior to this ceremony, we had the pleasure of participating in the town and gown procession through the streets of Burnie. The town and gown marks the engagement of the university with the city of Burnie. It's now my pleasure to invite the Mayor of Burnie, Councillor Steve Cons, to congratulate the graduates on behalf of the city.
Thank you very much, Deputy Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, members of the university, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys. On behalf of the City of Burnie, it is my great pleasure to be with you today to celebrate the success of the 2019 University of Tasmania graduates and diplomats. For the 43 graduates gathered here this afternoon, today marks the culmination of a whole lot of hard work and sacrifice that you have put in over the last few years to achieve your personal and professional goals that you have set for yourselves. The countless hours of research, study are behind you for the time being, and enjoy this special day which represents all that you have worked for incredibly hard. You can be very proud of your achievements, and I'm sure that your family and friends are with you today are incredibly proud of you as well. Our future professionals, academics, leaders, entrepreneurs and innovators are right here in this room. This is a very exciting time in the future of Burnie and our state. We want the northwest coast of Tasmania to be a place where tertiary education is accessible to all, and it's important to give our people the choice to stay here and to study at a world-class university campus. The future is certainly looking bright for the university at Cradle Coast. The relocation of our university campus to West Park is well progressed and is a project that will create long-term economic and social opportunities for our people. I'll start off with a little story. A few years ago, I met the General Manager of Caterpillar, Dan, the equipment company, and he said to me the following: in the old days, people used to skill themselves up and progress through the ranks. Now that I've come on board, the practice is that we like to see a piece of paper, and that says that they have achieved a certain level of competency. What he wanted to look for was that the most highly skilled people in the workplace were the ones that had a piece of paper. And in most instances, that was a determinant of whether they were employable or not. It didn't matter how hard they'd worked in the past or gone through the ranks. The primary reason that he was there was to make sure that everyone was skilled and had that piece of paper which you today will be getting. The City of Burnie is very proud and excited by our university that brings with it a diverse population through the university, which adds colour and vibrancy to our city. Today's graduation ceremony isn't just about acknowledging the hard work that our university students have achieved, but also instilling in our younger generations a love of learning and a sense of personal achievement that comes with that learning. It's fantastic to see you here today, and we're recognising the achievement of our future university students with the graduations of also the Children's University. On behalf of the university, the Burnie City Council and the Burnie community, I would like to congratulate you all as graduates here today and wish you all into your future endeavours. And I'll finish off with just saying that the only failure in life is not to try. You people have tried and you've succeeded. Well done into your future.
It's now my pleasure to invite Chris Walpole to present the occasional address. Chris is a pharmacist from Queenstown on Tasmania's remote west coast. He works at the Queenstown Medical Union Pharmacy, which was established in 1896 to serve the mining community of the region. Chris has worked on the West Coast for 13 years and for the last 2.5 years has been a key community leader, working voluntarily in partnership with the University of Tasmania and other key stakeholders to bring place-based education and learning opportunities to a population of around 4,000 people. Chris had a rural upbringing in Kempton in the southern Midlands of Tasmania, attending the local Kempton Primary School and then moved to Hobart to attend St Virgil's College. Chris completed a Bachelor of Pharmacy degree at the University of Tasmania, graduating in 1992, and then moved to Canberra in 1993, where he completed his graduate year at the Canberra Hospital. 3 years later, Chris became the Director of Pharmacy at the John James Memorial Hospital and went on to become the Senior Pharmacist, responsible for establishing a new pharmacy service at the National Capital Private Hospital. Chris was awarded the postgraduate degree of Master of Business Administration Executive in 2004 from the Australian Graduate School of Management, completing this course whilst working as a business manager for the Australian Pharmacy Group. After spending 13 years in Canberra, Chris returned to his home state of Tasmania to work in rural pharmacy practice on the northwest coast. He is an accredited consultant pharmacist and a member of the Australian Association of Consultant Pharmacy, conducting mediation management reports on referral from doctors for all the town centres of the West Coast, as well as King Island. Chris is a member of the Pharmaceutical Society of Australia, a board director of the local community Bendigo Bank, and past president of the Rotary Club of Queenstown. Chris has a monthly segment with the 7XS radio called Pharmacy Moments, which is a Q&A session on health topics of interest to the community. What does Chris do for entertainment? Well, he loves motorsport. He started racing karts at 11 years of age and is a two-time Tasmanian kart racing champion, the latest championship being in 2011. Chris has been twice to the Silverstone racing circuit in England with Porsche, and between his commercial commitments and when time allows, is a performance driver and trainer with the Porsche Club of Tasmania and a local brand ambassador. I invite Chris to present the occasional address.
Deputy Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, members of the University, graduands, what an enormous honour and privilege it is, as an alumnus of this wonderful learning institution, to be invited to stand before you all and give an occasional address on your special day. I thank UTAS for this opportunity. As a university graduate, I know well the rigour and hard work you've put into your studies to enable you to be here today. The late caffeine-fuelled nights, the sleepless evenings, the early mornings, the stress of exams, dealing with the highs of passing and the lows of not achieving the results you expected. But now you can relax, put all of that behind and enjoy this very special occasion with your friends, family and teachers who have helped you arrive at this point in your lives. Every one of you in this place at this time are an inspiration for what you have achieved in your field of specialisation at UTAS. My field of specialisation is as a pharmacist, but the story I want to share with you today is one of community leadership. I feel very humbled to have the opportunity to talk to you today how being an alumnus of the University of Tasmania and sharing its social mission to make a difference in the lives of Tasmanians has allowed me to make positive change in my community. After 13 years in Canberra and 12 months working as a pharmacist in Somerset, Smithton and Campbelltown, I arrived in Queenstown in early 2007. I noticed upon arriving a lack of educational opportunities compared with what I saw when I was living in Canberra and Hobart. I was blessed with having access to a really good education, so why couldn't this happen for people who live on the West Coast? The census of 2016 returned some alarming statistics specific to the West Coast, indicating that we were lagging compared with important state and national benchmarks. So only 4.6% of people who reside in the area were undertaking a university or technical education. This compares with the Tasmanian average of 12.4% and the national average of 16.1%. Only 49 people on the West Coast were studying at a university or other tertiary institution. Only 9% of West Coasters have a higher education degree, compared with 21% of Tasmanians and 28% of Australians. 1 in 4 households do not have access to the internet. The West Coast had a 14% unemployment rate, and that represents double the rate for Tasmania and Australia. So further challenges specific to the West Coast include population decline, limited public transport, and generational views that a university degree or embarking on a course at university is unattainable or unachievable. These disappointing statistics did not sit comfortably, and I lost sleep at night. And it became pretty clear to me over time that something needed to be done to correct this. I wanted to make the West Coast a better place. Instead of students and their families leaving town to pursue their education, or simply not having the opportunity to pursue further education, how about we bring education to the region? Learn without leaving, a place-based approach to learning. So as a community leader, what could I do about it? And why would people want to listen to me? Well, I had the advantage of established trust and respect as a health practitioner within my community. As part of my professional role, I knew a number of influential people. As graduates of the University of Tasmania, practicing in a professional capacity brings with it a community profile, a responsibility and an important connection to influential people. As new graduates transitioning into this well-connected professional world, you will meet and hear about people of influence who can become teachers and mentors, who can assist you along your learning journey. I recognised pretty quickly the scope of the task at hand and knew that success in trying to reverse these statistics and making a difference to a community would involve partnering with other organisations with more power and influence than simply me. So using this position of influence in my community role, the University of Tasmania was invited to Queenstown to host a community meeting to talk about place-based education and learning opportunities and work together to improve the community situation. This was the beginning of a cohesive community-driven partnership with the university, and from that point, the creation of partnerships with other organisations, including industry and local and state government providers in education, to assist us in creating a common vision for a learning community. In partnership with the university, we have commenced the conversation about how we can secure the educational future of the West Coast. We need to prepare the West Coast for a successful engagement with a global audience, for investment, making it a more attractive place to live and learn, preparedness for an increase in tourists within the visitation economy and the level of training required, increase our population base and bring regional economic development. This is about our community being entrepreneurial, innovative and transitioning the culture towards becoming creators of change, a transition to a focus on the region's future, to a focus on what's best for community, fostering a willingness to take a risk in a region with new ideas. If we fail, at least we've had a go and we can learn from the experience and try again. We have a real opportunity during this process to develop a best practice model for how we can deliver place-based education and learning opportunities to a regional community. The West Coast could be an example of how such innovative models can be implemented successfully around the country. So what have we achieved so far? 1, we have developed a strategic plan with a vision to be a community of learners, a vision for the future. A working group of 4 people have refined the plan. From small things, big things begin to happen. This strategic plan has the potential to lay the groundwork for future generations. 2, we have been the successful applicant for the $2.52 million worth of Commonwealth funding for a regional study hub located in Zeehan, which has been operational for close to 12 months. Again, we had a working group of 4 people creating the submission, and we were successful. This quick win created great momentum for everyone involved. 3, the Peter Underwood Centre Children's University now has a presence in the West Coast schools. we have our first cohort of 20 West Coast children graduating today, and how wonderful is this? Every child, regardless of their socioeconomic background, should be able to have access to learning opportunities at the Children's University. The Children's University passports can be expensive, especially if there is more than one child in a family. So my wife Lee and I funded the first 3 years of passports, so any child, regardless of their background or circumstances, has an opportunity to participate in the Children's University program. Leadership is about breaking down barriers to opportunities, investing money to secure a region's future by providing opportunity for people. And when you find a time in your career to do this, I can tell you, it feels really great. 4, a UTAS Community Learning Officer responsible for continuing the good work we started with the university, including the introduction of the Children's University on the West Coast and the establishment of a new UTAS Alumni and Friends West Coast network, where events are now being created and alumni are engaged. 5, a memorandum of understanding between the Children's University and our local community Bendigo Bank, where we sponsor the UTAS Open Day and school holiday programs each year for the next 3 years. 6, commenced associate degree offerings through the University College. And 7, commenced a Tasmanian Leaders Program for the West Coast. At graduation ceremonies in future years, I know that because of this work, there will be many more graduates from the West Coast sitting where you are all today. My fellow UTAS graduates, you don't need to be the Prime Minister of Australia or the Premier of Tasmania to start addressing community challenge and creating change. Change to community comes from within the community, and you can facilitate that change. Be a volunteer, be a mentor. You can be part of the local UTAS alumni. Being a community leader means speaking the truth and being true to yourself, having strong values, correcting situations that do not sit comfortably, seeking out people within your community whom you trust, the community champions who can be on your team to help you with your strategy. The biggest mistake you can make in your community is to wait for an individual or a company or an organisation to save you. As an important member of your community, you have to go out there, take a step into the unknown and make it happen in order to achieve the desired outcome for the community good. Another aspect to community change is that change does not occur quickly and is not straightforward. I have learned along this journey that change takes time. There will be an investment of time and financial resources to achieve the outcome that you want. Persistence is important. Be involved in working through the barriers to change using your influential diagnostic and persuasion skills. There is no instant gratification here. It is slow going. Through this journey, I've been dealing with different stakeholders, industry, government, local and state, and individuals with their own motivations for how they do things, and gain collective agreement on a way forward is challenging. There are roadblocks along the way, but as a community leader, you have to look at ways of overcoming these and be part of the solution. I've encountered all types of challenging personalities along my journey. There will be people you encounter who make stuff up. There are people who will take the credit for work they have not done. There are people with whom you have created an understanding only to be let down. You might come across those who will say, "We're not ready for this. This task is too big for us." People who create fake news, the conspiracy theorists, those that always see the negative, the social media bullies, and those that will make decisions that are in their own self-interest. But you know what, UTAS graduates? It is all just noise. It's just noise. It is the people and organisations with whom you share the common ground, with whom you trust and have similar values and goals, who have effective interpersonal skills. They need to be on your team. As a leader, stay focused on the vision, seek out the positive influences, stick to the facts and the truth, blank out the noise and get on with it. You're only as good as the people and organisations working with you. The university alumni is one of the strongest networks available. Now, as I wind up my address, I'd like to make some concluding remarks and pose some questions to you all. For some of you graduating today, the journey has been extraordinarily difficult. Some of you have come from high schools which don't have a strong record of students transitioning to university. For some, you might be the first person in your family to graduate from university. Graduates, regardless of your background, you all in this room are the stars here today. You are the future leaders of your community. I pose to you 4 questions for reflection. 1, where and how will you create positive change in your community in a way that is consistent with your values? 2, how will you go about bringing change to your community and make a difference in the lives of people? 3, how will you deal with the challenges along the way? And 4, how will you know when you've been successful? After all the ups and downs of your studies, it's not a question of whether or not you can make it in life, but how and where you'll make your mark. You can go anywhere you want in the world with your UTAS degree in your hand. Your degree is what you make of it, and your journey is up to you. Congratulations, UTAS graduates. Best of luck on that journey. I wish you all every success. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Chris, for that address. Really pleasing to hear some stuff that I certainly was unaware of, and perhaps I should well have been aware of it, but it does seem that some really commendable progress is being made, particularly on the West Coast, but also I'm aware that it is being made on the Northwest Coast too, to provide educational opportunities at varying levels for all of the community. But we really need to continue to work on this, and as a University Council we're continually focused on trying to get some change to generational attitudes and get some wider offerings that can appeal to people to advance their educational aspirations. But it's slow work, as Chris said. You don't change things quickly, but we certainly are going to continue to try, and we're going to keep at it, and we need all of the community, graduates, parents, relatives, friends, to be advocates for the benefits of education. So Chris, thank you very much for raising those very important issues for us. Thank you again. We can now get on with conferring some degrees, which is probably why you're all here in reality. And I now call upon the Chair of Academic Senate, Professor Natalie Brown, to present candidates for degrees and diplomas.
I call upon candidates for degrees and diplomas to stand. Deputy Chancellor, I commend to you the candidates whose names are listed in the conferral list before you for admission to the degrees and for the award of the diplomas shown. They have completed all requirements for their awards to the satisfaction of Academic Senate.
By virtue of the authority vested in my office, I admit you and the candidates in absentia, as listed in the conferral list before me, to the degrees and award the diplomas for which you and they have qualified.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join with me in congratulating the new graduates and diplomates. Graduates and diplomats, you may now be seated. Deputy Chancellor, the graduates and diplomates will now be presented to you.
I now call upon Associate Professor Andrea Carr, representing the Chief Executive of University College, to present diplomats in that college.
Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduate whom you have admitted to the Associate Degree in Agribusiness Dairy, Nathan Paul Backer. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduate whom you have admitted to the Associate Degree in Applied Business, Sport, Recreation and Leisure, Anthony David Blythe. Deputy Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of diplomates from the University College.
I now call upon Professor Victoria Carrington, representing the Executive Dean of the College of Arts, Law and Education, to present graduates in that college.
Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Associate Degree in Arts. Kendall Sarah Buckley. Marsha Lynn Gray. Sarah Ann Gray. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts. David Michael Livingston. Talia Kim Thomas. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduate whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Professional Honours, Investigative Practice, Darren Woolley. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Education Primary, Cale Barrett. Jacqueline Clark. Abby Michelle Howard. Mina Howe. Edward Robert Lindsay. Simone Bianca Mace. Georgia Lauren Mallinson. Jake Allen McDermott. Hayley Nolene Rowe. Madison Jade Walsh. Yasmin Bell Williams. Meg Page Wooten. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Educational Studies. Jessica Marie Chalk. Lisa Catherine Fagg. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Social Science. Alana Marie Hartog. Kim Marie Williamson. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Social Science, Police Studies. Sarah Ann Gray. Dean Richard Snooks. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Social Work. Angela Ray Burns. Ruth Elaine Fisher. Jasmine Carmel Louise Gall. Candice Rose Howe. Desiree Ann Lavelle. Deborah Marie Muir. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the diplomate to whom you have awarded the Graduate Certificate in Arts, Investigative Practice, James Michael Dodds. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the diplomate to whom you have awarded the Graduate Diploma of Arts, Police Studies, Colin James Lamont. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduate whom you have admitted to the degree of Master of Education, Jason Michael Marion. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Master of Social Work, Faye Elizabeth Graham. Tracy Ann Gunston. Olivia Brenner King. Victoria Jane Rodler. Lyndon Neil Stott. Colleen Frances Towns. Ashlyn Faith Williams. Congratulations. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Master of Teaching. Eyston Albach Cornell McLennan. Stacey Lauren King. Kathy Blue Tuesday St Evans. Abby Frances Wagner. Alastair James Yates. Deputy Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the College of Arts, Law and Education.
I now call upon Professor Denise Fassett, the Executive Dean of the College of Health and Medicine, to present graduates in that college.
Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduate whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Nursing, Jonathan Peter Backer. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduate whom you have admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Psychological Science, Sybil Miles McMillan. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those diplomates to whom you have awarded the Graduate Certificate in Nursing, Mary Joyce Madler. Michelle Tara Medap. Teresa Mary Scott. Rachel Lisa Storace. Jodie Cherie Van Adricum. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you have admitted to the degree of Master of Clinical Nursing, Jennifer Helen Atkinson. Debbie Marie Thau. Deputy Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the College of Health and Medicine.
I now call upon Associate Professor Stuart Crispin, the Executive Dean of the Tasmanian School of Business and Economics, to present graduates in that school.
Deputy Chancellor, I present to you those graduates whom you've admitted to the degree Bachelor of Business. Zachary Thomas Hampson. Peter Jane King. Kirsten Mace. Deputy Chancellor, that concludes the presentations of graduates from the Tasmanian School of Business and Economics.
I now call upon Professor Tracy Dixon, the Dean of Graduate Research, to present those graduates who have qualified for research higher degrees in graduate research.
Deputy Chancellor, along with teaching, research is one of the major activities of the University of Tasmania. The university is ranked amongst the top research-intensive universities within Australia, and the strength and diversity of our research is reflected in our consistent world-class performance across a breadth of disciplines. Our higher degree graduate research students make a significant contribution to our research activities through the generation of new knowledge, through analysis, innovation and insight, and using the state-of-the-art research facilities and a truly multidisciplinary approach. Through the application of that knowledge, our research students contribute to the solution of real-world problems and to the improvement of our communities and our citizens' well-being. Deputy Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to present the new Research High Degree graduates to you. Deputy Chancellor, you have admitted Karen Michelle Christie to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Christie researched the greenhouse gas emissions of the Australian dairy industry, finding them comparative to those of other pasture-based grazing systems from the developed world. She also investigated a range of mitigation options to reduce dairy greenhouse gas emissions. Deputy Chancellor, Dr. Karen Michelle Christie. Congratulations. Well done. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you Alison Frances Hall. Dr Hall investigated Tasmanian dairy farmers' decision-making around pasture management, understanding what, how and why factors influence adoption of recommended management practices and farmers' engagement with training activities. She developed recommendations to help improve future research and training for the dairy industry. Deputy Chancellor, Dr Alison Frances Hall. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you Kate Margaret Warren. Dr Warren researched young people and risk on social media. Through privileging young people's voices, she found that young people engage in their own risk practices as an everyday experience and provided new findings from a youth-centred perspective. Deputy Chancellor, Dr Kate Margaret Warren. Congratulations. Deputy Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from Graduate Research.
It's now my pleasure to introduce you to Peter King, who graduated this afternoon with a Bachelor of Business and is a recipient of the Burnie Chamber of Commerce and Industry bursary. Peter will now give the valedictory address on behalf of the cohort of students graduating today.
Deputy Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, members of the University, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Firstly, I would like to thank the University for the opportunity to deliver the valedictory address at this graduation ceremony. It is an honour and my absolute pleasure to deliver this speech on behalf of the new graduates, and I am proud to be a graduate of the University of Tasmania. This graduation is a perfect opportunity to celebrate the hard work and determination of my fellow graduates, who are now ready for the next chapter of their lives, armed with knowledge and enthusiasm. Despite the long hours of study, late nights, last-minute cramming and sacrifice, these graduates have overcome many obstacles on the way to achieving this goal. But along the way, hidden amongst the textbooks and deadlines, other skills have surfaced, such as confidence, persistence, innovation and resilience. The valuable knowledge and experience we have gained from our degrees, we will apply to our personal and professional lives going forward. After having my two daughters, I realised I was yearning for a new challenge, something more. Let's call it my midlife crisis. I always enjoyed working with numbers. They have a way of telling a story. So it seemed natural that I would be attracted to a double degree in accounting and finance. I found the first year of study challenging, with two small children and my husband working away down the west coast. But eventually, I found my rhythm. And after surviving the first year, I certainly felt like I've got this. But, as we know, life likes to throw a few challenges along the way to achieving these goals. I was diagnosed with grade 3 invasive breast cancer in 2016. The diagnosis was a shock to myself and my family, given my age and my lack of family history. But it did give me the opportunity to reassess my direction, my life choices and goals, and I knew that continuing on with a degree was right for me. With the wonderful support of my husband, family and campus staff, I was able to adjust my study load, and I continued to study throughout surgery, chemotherapy and radiation treatment. And once again, I had the attitude of, I've got this. I realised that courage and resilience were qualities that were deeply embedded within me, and they became my driving force. I was determined not to let the cancer beat me, define my year or my life. That was the most challenging year of my life, but also the most rewarding. I am proud that I mustered the courage, commitment, and resilience to keep moving forward. These are qualities we all possess. They emerge when we are faced with life's challenges. Studying at the University of Tasmania has exposed me to a variety of experiences, and I was provided the opportunity to be placed in a corporate internship at a not-for-profit organisation here in Burnie. This was an invaluable experience to work in an accounting environment, which reinforced my decision to practice accounting. The opportunity to network with industry professionals provided invaluable, as my mentor chose to pass on a recommendation to a local accounting firm, and on completion of the internship, I began paid employment at the firm where I still am today. So here we are, with degrees under our belts and setting off into the wide world to walk a new path. We are eternally grateful to the University of Tasmania for the opportunity to achieve a world-class education in our regional community with supportive and understanding lecturers and faculty staff. We are proud to have the same opportunities and outcomes as our counterparts in larger cities, but we have the small community advantage, which prepares us for a brighter future. We will all stand proud as we enter the next chapter of our lives as alumni of the University of Tasmania.
Thank you, Peter, for what was an inspirational valedictory address and an inspirational story. And I think what Peter dwelt on were some very important aspects of what I'm sure all the graduates and diplomats here today have enjoyed, and that is the support of some of the academics who are on the stage here, and undoubtedly people in the crowd, family, friends, and without them, I doubt that everybody would have been able to achieve what they have achieved. So I'd like to invite the graduates and diplomats to be upstanding and to thank family and friends and the academics in the normal manner. Feel free to turn around, wave, shout, bellow, whatever you want to do, but thank them. Thank you all. We're nearly done here. Just a little note. Graduates, as you leave the ceremony today, I'd like you to remember that you're not leaving the university because you're now alumni. You've joined the university community, and I urge you to keep in touch with us. The alumni page in your copy of the graduation program is a guide as to what we have to share with you, and the Vice-Chancellor and I would now like to invite you, your family and guests to refreshments in the foyer. I ask you all to stand while the procession retires and invite you to follow us.